A huge vision, yet a possible one. Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo, who is the convener of Christ Compassion to the rural world and also the senior pastor of Kingsway International Christian Centre, will be carrying out one of Africa's biggest rural crusade from the 6th to the 11th of November. The outreach is expected to hold in Igbogbo, Ikorodu area of Lagos State, leading about 10,000 people to Christ. His team is also expected to distribute food and clothing items, provide free health care, and go as far as bringing specialists to perform surgeries for hundreds of people. We have the convener himself here in the studio, Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo. He is the senior pastor of KICC. Good morning. It's good to have you join us this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Right. Let's talk about this huge vision, the Christ Compassion to the rural world in Ikorodu. How did you receive this vision and why Ikorodu?
Well, 49 years ago when I went to seminary, my heart was always to do something like this. Right. But the church denomination which trained us at that time wanted everyone to be pastors. So I did that for almost all these 49 years. But somehow 8 years ago, while speaking with someone in Ghana, I observed that these guys were doing rural crusades in a very unique way that I had never seen before. They were combining preaching the word with giving huge relief. And I felt if Africa needed anything, this is the best way to touch people. Not only to touch them on a spiritual level, but also to touch them on a physical, mental, emotional level, right. Giving people a sense of dignity and showing them the compassion of Christ. So that was my biggest motivation. So I followed those guys. I would go all the way from London and go and follow them to villages in Ghana. I've been to northern, southern, eastern, western Ghana for 8 years.
Interesting.
Just understanding the way they do it. In fact, my friends in Ghana just thought, is this guy okay? I'll leave the comforts of the UK to sleep in some of the smallest hotels you've ever seen in Tamale, in Bolgatanga, all those villages you've never heard of in Ghana. But I was doing it in preparation for what I wanted to do in Nigeria. I felt very strong that I was to do crusades in rural Nigeria, go where others probably didn't think they should go.
Hence Ikorodu?
Well, Ikorodu, after finishing my, shall I call it understanding those guys, yeah. I kept praying for where to go first. Because I've always had a widows event in Osun State, which is my home state, my hometown precisely, Odeomu. It reached crescendo where we had 23,000 widows on one occasion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we gave 23,000 widows money, clothes, and food. It became the biggest widows thing you could ever hear of. But then I felt it wasn't about my state. I needed a clear leading. One day, standing on my balcony in the little house I have in Lekki, overlooking the waters, I felt I heard God say, well, you've been praying for where to go, and it's just next door. I said, next door where? He said, look to your right. On my balcony, Ikorodu is 15 minutes. If you travel by water, Ikorodu is 15 minutes.
Right.
And it was such a shocker. I said, first of all, that's where I went to train 49 years ago. It's so close by. How come I didn't hear? That's how Ikorodu, Igbogbo came about. Didn't tell anyone, called my driver, did a Google search for the largest space I could find, Igbogbo Stadium. Got there, and the rest is history.
That's an amazing thing. And, I'm a Muslim, and I am also big on, reading the Bible because of the fact that, the kind of family background that I have, Christian and Muslim. And I know that what you're doing is inconsistent with Matthew 14, 17 to 21, where Jesus Christ...
Nice to hear you put the passage.
5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes, and he said, bring them here, and then he multiplied it. But you are now taking it a notch higher, by, feeding, people with 50,000 packs of rice, beans, etc. Also bringing in doctors to perform 300 surgeries and all of that. So I've been wondering, this is quite humanitarian, as against what others will always preach about prosperity and not looking at how do we touch the lives of the people. This is at a huge cost. Why?
Number one, it's just so interesting that until you get a a eureka moment. You never know that certain statements are in the same Bible you carry all of your life. In Acts 10:38, it says, how God anointed Jesus Christ of Nazareth, who went healing the sick and doing good.
Yeah.
The Greek word for doing good actually is doing charitable work, giving gifts, helping people. So it meant that, and when you look at the life of Christ like you referred, you see him doing it severally.
Yeah.
Thousands were at his meeting. He didn't want them to go home hungry. He fed them. Matthew 9, he saw them and he showed compassion. Right. Several times, Jesus' work was underwritten by extreme compassion. He saw a widow woman going to bury her only son, her only joy. He brought the boy back to life. So that is our biggest motivation. And in doing this, the guys in Ghana kept saying, Pastor Matthew, it's time. Let's go do Nigeria. I said, if we're going to do Nigeria, it's going to be 10 times what you are doing in your little villages in Ghana. Ikorodu, I had to do my own demographic study. When I lived there 49 years ago, there were 84,000 people in Ikorodu. Wow. Today, there's 1,093,000. What you call Ikorodu is actually made up of Ikorodu, Igbogbo, Ikorodu, and 151 villages. So you could not do something like this and bring 5,000 rice. So we'll be doing 50,000 packets of rice, 50,000 packets of beans, 50,000 packets of gari, 10,000 bottles of oil, 10,000 buckets, 24,000 exercise books for children. We'll be doing 75,000 clothes, 15,000 of it being brand new Ankara for the women, and then the rest for every gender, male, female, boys and girls, men and women. We'll be doing 10,000 sachets of sugar, 10,000 sachets of salt, etc., 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 etc. The reason for this is truly to show compassion, to show love, to touch the hearts of men and make them see that, look, really, Christianity is about showing love and showing compassion and ministering to people. Apart from this, we're working with the General Hospital in Ikorodu. We'll be bringing in doctors and other fire specialists. From the Monday of our starting to the Friday night, 200 to 300 surgeries will take place. But the biggest, like one guy will say on TikTok, the Ogakpata of them all, is on Saturday, when we will line up 100 doctors, 100 pharmacists, 50 pharmacy technicians, and other specialists, lab technicians to check if you are susceptible to malaria, high blood pressure, diabetes. There will be medicines worth 70 million naira to be put into the hands of you. There will be check places where they can quickly check. So Igbogbo Stadium will be practically a hospital on Saturday, the 11th of November, taking care of, we don't know yet, maybe between 10 and 20,000 people. We'll start from 6 a.m. on that day. 3 p.m., they'll cut off the number of people who can enter. We don't want someone to enter and they're unable to attend to them, but they will not finish until 6 p.m. In the night meetings, we also believe that, look, the reason we're doing Saturday and providing all those medicine is because not all men have faith.
Yeah.
The real purpose of what we're doing is to win souls to Christ. In the evening meetings, it'll be a miracle crusade. I believe in miracles. I believe God heals the sick. He sets captives free. I believe the blind can see. I believe the deaf can speak. I've seen it. I've seen it all through my ministry. Doing it in Ghana, unusual things happened in the meetings in Ghana. A 32-year-old lady who's deaf and dumb speaks. 16-year-old boy who had never spoken or heard and spoke. His mother was crying. And she said, I live with this boy. What's happening here? But then, you see, sometimes the church needs to be both cerebral and spiritual.
Right.
We can't
striking a balance.
Yes, we can't do all things spiritual without being cerebral. That's the reason why, we do the miraculous in the night.
All right.
And we do the cerebral in the daytime.
Interesting that this is coming at this time where even the federal government is looking to cushion the effect of the removal of fuel subsidy, bringing out palliatives. State also looking at putting in some measures to cushion the effect on people, and this will also go a long way. But then again, one would wonder, who is financing this?
Very good question. Very good question. As you can see, they didn't say KICC. It says Christ Compassion to the rural world. One of the things I've always believed is that if God prospers me, it's not just for my own prosperity. Right. It puts me on the stage to have to answer this, but 75-80% of costings to this comes from me.
You alone?
Yes, while we have others giving. So if anybody is able to give, we are glad. May I just say here and appreciate one or two medical pharmaceuticals, hearing the magnitude of what we want to do, were able to give us some medicines. So we will now have to augment with buying. I cannot but mention one particular medical company. When the guy saw the magnitude of what we want to do, he gave us 164 boxes of medicine.
Wow.
That tells you that there are Nigerians who are ready to go extra mile to bring hope, healing, and succor to people. So people are giving. Let me just admit that. We make appeals on our platform. I have a morning prayer platform where people connect to from 50 nations. So people who are not Nigerians have been giving towards this, and Nigerians everywhere, diaspora, local, have been giving towards this.
That's great.
Interesting stuff. You already celebrated your 71st birthday on 17th of March. I hope I'm correct.
Yes, sir.
As you've been born in 1952. But then you go into 72, and we're looking, we're wondering whether you have more, what's it called, hills to conquer, because we know that 72 and, counting, they'll be winding down. The way you've been talking, boisterous, you've been full of life, the energy is there, and then, the feeling for the entire people, the people of the world is also there. What exactly is it, this strength? Where is it coming from?
Well, number one, I believe the strength comes from the Lord, but number two, I also believe that you need to take care of yourself.
So you hit the gym?
So, I hit the gym. I do 4 hours.
Oh, wow.
I do 4 hours exercise every other day.
Interesting.
Every other day I do 4 hours. 2 hours of walking around, 2 hours in my gym.
Coupled with the energy you also bring to the altar.
So I do 4 hours. I just believe that when we talk age, we talk biology, but biology should not really determine how long you live. I think modernity, medicine, opportunity, and informations we now have help us. Also, I cut down my meals and stopped a lot of the food I eat, because the African food was designed by farmers. And most of us are not farmers. We still eat like farmers do.
Yes.
Gari laro, gari loson, gari lale, eba, all the starch,
So when you start sleeping early in the morning after you've woken up.
So when I tell people, if I eat akara, it's only akara. You say akara and what?
Yeah.
Because that's the mindset. If I eat moi moi, they say moi moi and what? No, it's a meal. I said they can't believe it. So the energy comes from knowing Christ, living for Him, but at the end of the day also, deciding that I intend to live healthy and but my commitment for the rest of my life is Christ's compassion to the rural world. So Ikorodu is the opener of the matrix. So we're hoping that people in that area, in fact, we're going to be putting buses out. We have about 15 routes. This thing is costing close to 400 million naira. Probably more.
Wow.
Yes, we'll be putting buses out to every of the 151 villages.
So some people's movement too.
Yeah, we'll be carrying people to the crusade. We'll be dropping them as close as we can, because some of the roads are just
accessible,
not motorable.
As it is. Interesting that this huge project, one is wondering you will need or require a number of hands to help as it is, because of the number. And we're wondering where are you getting them from?
Thank you very much. I'd like to celebrate all the churches in the Ikorodu region. Once we went and cast the vision, the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, the churches in that region got involved. The Christian Association of Nigeria in that area got involved. Foursquare Church, the Redeemed Christian Church, you've got the Anglican Church rallied around us. So it's actually all the souls that will be giving their life to Christ are not coming to our church. We just take the decision cards and distribute to all these churches. My first meeting with pastors in the area, 1,200 showed up, even though it was a short notice. And subsequently, a good number have heard. So we think we need 1,000 volunteers to manage the crowd, because during the daytime, the distribution, one, you don't want stampede. Second, you want order.
Yes.
Thirdly, if an elderly mother comes and we give her the rice, the beans, and the gifts, we want a volunteer to help her until she is away from any pushing around. So the volunteers, in fact, 200 of my members from London are buying their own tickets, paying for their own hotel, paying their own hotel bill to be there. I told them, if you're coming, buy your ticket, pay your hotel bill. I will only provide lunch. So we're paying for lunch for 1,000 volunteers every day. It's huge.
Wow.
It's really big.
That's a lot.
Interesting stuff. And I know, when you started reading out all of the benefits that people will get, apart from, getting, closer to the Holy Spirit, through the messages you'll be giving, all of this, 50,000 packs of rice, the same thing for beans, having a lineup of doctors and all of that. If this predated 2023 elections, I will be asking you, are you running for election? Because we know what will come out of it if you were a politician.
Nice question, but they would have asked that question in Osun whenever I held my widows event. 15 towns get shut down. All their widows come to my hometown. I've never desired office in politics, and honestly, from a spiritual point of view, I consider it as stooping. I'll be stooping down to look up to any political office. Really? I couldn't think of a loftier responsibility than to touch people from the point of being a minister of the gospel.
But there are those who would also say that occupying a political office is also an avenue to touch people's lives.
Certainly, it's actually in itself a ministry. It is a calling. And that, in fact, if you really understand that God called you to help people from a political point of view, you are a minister in the marketplace.
Yes.
You are doing the right thing. But from where I am, I wouldn't seek an office. And by the way, at 72, which office do you want to seek? And what would be your motive? If my motive is to raise leaders, I've already done. I still am doing. If my motive is to touch people, I've already done. I still am doing. If my motive is to impact pastors, we didn't even mention it. While this conference is going on, there'll be a space for 2,000 pastors whom we will impact their life. During this same crusade, we'll have 2 sessions for pastors. We're bringing in Jerry, a Mensa Otabil from New York, Festus Adeyeye, Ojoye Made, to speak into their lives. And I'm actually also giving those 2,000 pastors a Bible I had prepared myself. I published a Bible myself, and Cambridge University published a Bible. It costs £40, but I'm giving to the pastors, 2,000 pastors, and giving them 5,000 books. I've written 110 books. So out of my books, I'll give 5,000 books to these pastors. So you can see, after writing 110 books, I'm publishing the Bible and traveling the whole world. Why would you seek an office? So we're not doing it to seek an office. We want to show the compassion face of Christ.
Right. Now, with this huge crusade happening in Ikorodu, there will be those who will be asking, security measures being put in place is a critical one, because we know what the situation across the country is right now. So if you could just talk to us on that.
First of all, I also want to give kudos to His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Lagos State. Once I had this vision, I believe I'm a Yoruba person. I have to knock on the right doors. I first went to the kings, knocked on their door. The king of Ikorodu, the Alailu, and said, was over the moon. He received us with the greatest reception. The Oba of Igbogbo, oh my word. With the reception, we were even, we were cheesed by the level of reception. I went with 14 pastors. They were ready with 200 chiefs.
Interesting.
And then I went to His Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State. Once I got there, presented the vision. He said, oh, okay, yeah, Igbogbo Stadium, we haven't finished it. This should push us to finish it. Since you are coming to touch our people with compassionate gifts. Yeah. So they began to accelerate the stadium, the road in front of the stadium. Then the governor now put together a committee to work with us. And security is top on the list of that committee. And the committee is looking into bringing in safety, Lamata, everybody will be involved. And then we're talking to the Inspector General of Police himself. So the level of security will be on the highest notch. In fact, it will be 24 hours police presence. You don't want to have this kind of...
huge crowd. Not
only the crowd. The things you put on ground that you will distribute tomorrow, somebody might just have an idea. Let me go and help myself. So we'll have 24 hours security. Police will be on the outside perimeters. We don't want them inside.
Right.
Local security supplied by government plus our own security who will be the ones. We don't want anyone to feel scared.
Yeah.
We want them to truly know that this is showing the compassion of Christ.
Important.
I also believe I've been thinking about it that, yeah, you may have stories of cults in Ikorodu, but you find that sometimes these cults, they will rather rob a person or hurt a person who wants to show wealth, not a person who comes to touch the
compassion.
poor. You know, Robin Hood will not steal from people who show compassion.
That's right. That's right. At the same time, I love the fact that, apart from the fact that you guide people towards the Holy Spirit, guide people towards the essence of, understanding the religion that you profess and you practice and living after Jesus Christ. Some are of the opinion that with the anointing, with the Holy Spirit, I'm healed. I'm okay. I have no need to go to the hospital. And you are someone who is known to, also perform miracles, just like you said, in the night, but make people understand the benefits, the essence of using, the medicine, the drugs, and all of that. Could you speak to that so that people who are ailing will see the need to also talk to the doctors?
Okay. I have always believed in balance. I believe that life should be like the pendulum in the grandfather clock. Those big grandfather clocks. They have this pendulum that swings. So there must be power, but there should be principles. So power and principles. Power and principles. The Bible is so balanced. It's men that go to extreme. The Bible will say, not all men have faith. Not all men have faith. And so because not all men have faith, it therefore means that the one that should be by the miraculous, we will do. But during the daytime on Saturday, those who need medicine, we will give them. So there is balance. And if somebody is hearing me today, let them not say, this cancerous cell that was inside me, I feel so strongly that I should not use that medicine. I saw an angel. Hey, please be balanced. Sometimes you might just realize that even the doctor is being used of God to bring your health and healing. That's why Lagos University Teaching Hospital in Diaraba will say, we cure, but God heals. So it is only God who truly brings the complete therapy. But curation can be through medicine.
So let's even talk about the crusade itself, what people should expect.
When people come, the first day, we're opening on Monday night. Although I haven't said on Monday night, let me just do it this way. There are 5 things happening. Thing number 1 is the surgery. Before we even start on Monday night, the surgery has started at the General Hospital Ikorodu. We are grateful to the hospital. They are creating space for the doctors, the specialists. So every morning, there will be operation carried out by these doctors under the auspices of Christ Compassion Crusade. every morning, from Monday to Friday. They start in the morning, they finish in the evening. So that's phase one. The second thing happening is the night meetings. On Monday nights, we're hitting Ikorodu with a massive praise, worship, celebration. We're opening with celebration. We want to celebrate Ikorodu Oga. We want to celebrate Jesus. And so we have a lineup of every gospel artist you can think of. Laolu Benjo, Tokwe Alabi, Alasheyori, Nathaniel Bassi, and Esther Igbekele, BJ Sachs. We're going to have a huge opening that night. And every night will be the night of the miraculous. Not just healings. There will be all kinds of miracles. I believe in miracles. I've been a Christian 51 years now, and I have seen the hand of God on a global level. I've seen God do the supernatural. So the night meetings are nights of healings, miracles, breakthroughs, favors in people's life, showing the compassion of Christ. Then Tuesday, every morning, Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, Thursday morning, Friday morning, and so we're distributing. The first morning, Tuesday morning, we'll be distributing 75,000 clothes. We are thinking that we might just support it with 10,000 Indomie packets. That's still another cost. We're still thinking. It's a month to now. We think there will be provision and we'll do that. We just want to touch people. Can you believe, sir, that in that same Ikorodu, when I was in seminary, I was very poor. I cannot forget that I have to walk from seminary to Itailewa to buy a can of rice. A small can of rice to go back to seminary to cook. So we're providing, we're touching lives, we're bringing hope. That's the whole essence. And we want the whole of Ikorodu to be ready because God will visit the land. It's going to be awesome.
Quickly, after Ikorodu, where next?
That's because I was going to ask whether other places will be jealous of Ikorodu.
Of course.
And just as they are jealous, I'm jealous too. Because I'm still waiting. As I told you,
yes,
I'm going to Ikorodu by a divine mandate.
Yeah.
I don't know where next. I've asked God where next.
So you intend to sustain this
two
move?
times a year.
Right.
Once or two times. Judging by the cost, it might be once. But in my mind, I want to do 2 times because we brought in a public address system of $500,000.
Oh, wow.
We're not renting. So I don't want to be using the equipment once a year. I want to use it twice a year.
Yeah, right. Interesting. We've had
Congratulations.
an interesting time. Sharing this table with you is an honor. Thank you so much, Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo, Senior Pastor of KICC, for this time.
Yeah, hopefully the table will turn to a manor after the show.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. And well done on the job on this lofty project that you are carrying on your shoulders.
Thank you.